streaming services.
Well, the good news is you can get hooked. Because the first 2 seasons...
Good news is you're just going to keep spending more. Yeah. Welcome to the SheerLuxe Team Podcast with me, Charlotte Collins. This week I'm joined by Heather Steele, Harriet Russell and Patricia O'Dwyer. Welcome everyone.
Hi.
We were just talking, it's very, very wet today, and we were talking about the repercussions on our hair. 2 things for those who are watching. A, please check out Heather's beautiful natural curls. B, I just have to apologise that I'm wearing the same jacket as last week because I intended to take it off, but it's really quite chilly.
It's a great jacket.
It's a great jacket.
It's a good jacket.
Thanks. Your hair looks so... I'm so jealous. That is your natural wave. Yes.
Yeah. It's been misted 5 times with rain, but I did have to sort of smooth it down with wet hands when I got in. But yeah, I think when you've got curly hair, you can kind of handle a little bit.
I mean, it's a type, we were saying a type of curly knot. What was your word?
Fluffy.
Fluffy.
So fluffy.
I mean, if I brushed it now, it would be like a big triangle. But...
Oh my gosh, my fiance always says that I look, like in Wallace and Gromit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, whenever I leave my hair to dry, and actually sends me that FaceTime, I'm like, leave me alone.
Oh, I was going to say the old twins in The Simpsons. What they call Velma and Thelma. Not you, but like that's what my sort of reference point is.
Lou always says it's her Hermione Granger hair.
Yes, I say that
exactly.
It's very triangular.
Yeah.
What's your hair like naturally?
Hermione Granger.
Okay.
that is the word I use to people, but I just have such a technique with it these days, which is, well, when in doubt, when I've done nothing to it, I've got a bun in, which I think I wore for the best part of 2 years.
You very rarely wear your hair down. I think I've seen your hair down like twice ever.
Well, to work, right at the end of last year, I started to wear it down much more. So much so that everyone said something to me, I think, which is how unusual it is.
How long is your hair?
It's really long, I can see.
Where does it come to?
If it was down now...
Does it cover your nipples? I always think that's the measure of long hair.
Probably below. Probably nearer my belly button.
Oh, wow. Mermaid.
It's very, very long. But only because I'm lazy and I'm never going to cut.
Yeah.
The thing is, every time I go, I want mine to be really, really long again, but every time I go and just the trim, they take so much off every time, so it's just kind of always at the same length.
No, you've got to find the right hairdresser who listens to you. So I'm having mine cut on Saturday, and I'm thinking about having these bits, these front bits, just a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
Not like I love what Polly's done with this kind of long fringe. Not like that because I wear my hair slicked back so often.
You still need to be able to
It still needs to
do that.
go into the bun. But I feel like I've got, like, when I wear my hair straight like this, there's just no framing on my face, and there's just these really long...
you need a few...
some layers.
That'll look nice.
So nice. I'm actually so...
Yeah, I know you've
Really?
got really good hair.
What's your top hair care tip then? What do you do to keep yours tame?
So... It's a lot of work. I straightened my hair for years and years and years, and then I went like very much on the natural hair hype, and then I got over that.
And so naturally, what does it look like?
It's really tight, and so I wear, like, honestly, for about 2 years, I just wore it scraped back.
Yeah, I think about
it.
with you guys,
I mean, it started in the pandemic because I just couldn't be bothered to go through my whole hair care routine for no one to see it.
It's very chic.
I like that.
And also, I was going to say, it's lucky.
And often when my hair's in a bun, in real life, I think it looks really greasy. But then on Zoom, no one can see that.
Yeah,
so
100%.
so fine in the pandemic,
But yeah, now I'm kind of back into straightening it, which I probably need to stop because I want it to be nice and healthy for the wedding. But it's a long process. I try not to add much heat in between washes. So like I washed it last night, so it looks quite good today.
How
and then
often do you wash your hair?
Like every 5 days.
No, I'm the same though. You have very dry hair. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Like this, it just...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but that means that you don't have to wash it every...
I know, we are lucky.
Hours. Wedding year!
I know.
That's so exciting.
I can't...
We're in January, the wedding is... August.
5 months and 1 week.
Oh no, June. Oh,
17th of June.
Okay, I feel like that's when the countdown really begins.
I feel very stressed.
Do you?
It was like we hit the 6-month mark, and now I'm like, oh my god! And it is also that point, like, to be fair, it's partly our fault. We've done save the dates, we haven't had invites out yet. Okay. So we're at that point where everyone's like, where are we staying? What are all the details? Lots of questions. And I'm like, leave me alone. But invites will be out soon, and then it's just...
Have you got a website? I feel like for all of those.
So that's literally what we did last night.
Okay, good.
And that will make a big difference.
Yeah, that stops the questions.
Exactly.
At you.
Yeah, but I'm so excited.
And the dress journey is underway.
It is. I've actually got a fitting on Thursday. I'm very excited. Yeah.
Well, we're excited for the content.
Indeed.
Please share your wedding with us in the time.
Don't worry.
When's your hen?
It is in May. It's the early May bank holiday, I think.
All these bank holidays. Yeah. What will you be doing? Do you know?
We're going abroad, but I don't know where.
And the wedding's in Italy?
The weddings are here in Herefordshire.
Sorry, of course it is.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Weddings in Herefordshire.
Everyone can chill out about where they're staying.
I know. I'm like, you're not coming that far. Yeah, my sister's planning the hair and I'm very excited. It'll be my first like trip away since having a child, so I'm really very
you're
very
ready.
excited.
You're ready. And well, I've got several questions. A, have you started buying outfits for your hen / in and around the wedding?
I am thinking about them. I haven't bought anything yet, but I feel like I need to, because I'm very conscious of not wanting to leave it too close and then getting stuff that like everyone's wearing.
Yeah, but you do also need to wait for the summer stuff to come in.
Exactly. So it's a bit of a balance. I think I'm going to rent a few things as well.
Damn right.
So
great.
Yeah.
And Ottilie, your little girl is turning 1 this week. What are you going to put her in?
I am really struggling with that, if I'm honest, because I find the kids stuff, it's obviously all very cute, but like I want her to look quite cool on the wedding. She's going to be a little flower girl. She's going to have a little flower crown. It'll be very cute. But yeah, I don't know. I think I might hunt around sort of like vestiaire and stuff. I feel like that might be the place to find something quite cool for a little girl for a wedding. I don't want it to be like over the top flouncy, but I want it to be
cute. There we go, Harriet. That's a feature idea. We've done lots of where to rent wedding things before, but we haven't done like if you want to make your wedding fashion more sustainable,
secondhand. Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially for kids stuff, because they're really not going to wear that again.
I mean, it's not, because it's like, what are the chances? I mean, hopefully I won't have another child that needs to fit into a flower dress.
We might have someone else's wedding. Okay, so it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday the 10th of January.
10th,
which means that it is the day where the most anticipated book of the decade has been released. This is Prince Harry's book, Spare. It's come out today. So naturally, none of us read it, unless we all saw the extracts last week that leaked through the Spanish media. But I just thought we couldn't have a podcast go out this week without just reflecting on it a little bit. We know that everybody's heard quite a lot of conversation around it, so we'll keep it brief. But I mean, Harriet, you've got such a face on this.
My face is so bad.
I mean, Harriet, what is your I was going to say it's not an initial or a knee-jerk reaction, you know, after weeks of exposure to Harry's interviews and extracts from the book, what is your feeling towards him?
Bored to death. I just don't care, and I sort of feel like at least now the conversation is becoming a bit more nuanced. I think when they first left or announced their Megxit, I know that everyone has feelings about that term, but there was, a lot of the public was sort of behind them and saying, it's fine that they want to try and achieve financial independence, good for them. If they're not happy, if they think privacy is an issue at home with the press, then fine. This isn't privacy. And this is selling your family's dirty laundry for millions. I'm sorry, that is just what it is.
His book advance was 20 million. Did you know that?
No.
Which, and apparently 10% of that was donated to his charity. It's like, what about the other 18?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually found parts of the Netflix documentary more interesting, if anyone's watched
I've heard that. I haven't watched it.
Not the personal stuff, which is a similar sort of like tirade, to be honest, which is all very dull. But they brought on Afua Hirsch and then a couple of other sort of racism experts to talk through the press's treatment of Meghan and how it did do this, well, not even switch really, because from the beginning, some of them were really out to get her from a racist point of view. And then Afua Hirsch particularly talks very eloquently about racism in this country and the problem that it poses. And I thought those bits were excellent. I was like, we need this lot to do a racism documentary for the BBC. That's valuable. But, the whole my brother broke my necklace thing, I mean, give it a rest.
During that exchange, they call each other Willie and Harold. Sarcastically,
that is the biggest takeaway. I so agree. I really loved that day when that story broke. That was a teaser from the book. That on Twitter, it was trending, like people saying like way worse things that their siblings have done. That's nothing.
I have like literal scars on my body from my sister. So, and what am I going to do? Try and get a book advance for 20 million?
If I could make a book out of those stories.
All siblings fight. All siblings don't like each other's partners sometimes. It all happens to us. But the problem is when you're bleating this from a £20 million, 11 bathroom position, it doesn't engender a huge amount of sympathy. And of course, it's what he says. Every story has two sides, but we're not allowed to hear the other side because the royals don't have that freedom.
But I also just I was thinking this earlier, there are elements of this entire story that I do have compassion for and whatever. And then there are bits that I'm like, okay, pipe down.
Totally.
But, like, also, can we put things in perspective?
Yes, well, that's
There
the point,
are
yeah.
so many things going on in the world right now that, frankly, I don't really care.
And going on in our country, like, I know obviously there's still plenty of media attention,
Massive.
you know, going on the strikes, going on, you know, the nurses, the railways, like, but not enough, because so much of our time and attention is being taken away.
Every time I open my phone, it's like another story, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't have the capacity for it.
And also at this stage, it is, as you say, there are really valuable takeaways and important topics in this wider story. But at the moment, we're just talking about family. It's a soap opera about family.
Yeah.
And we've all got family, so your story's not that interesting to me.
To be honest, if I was Meghan, I'd also be a bit annoyed because that, like, that,
She
like you
doesn't
said,
come out of it very well.
She doesn't. But also those, you know, like that Afua discourse, very important.
Yeah.
And like I don't particularly love or hate Meghan, but it's also kind of beside the point. There are elements of that I think are very important to highlight in this country. However, we seem to have moved on from that quite quickly.
Absolutely right.
Why
We're
are we
not
talking
focusing on
about the fact that Camilla turned his bedroom into a dressing room? It's like, what?
My mum redecorated my bedroom 3 weeks after I moved out.
If I try to leave so much as an earring, it's like, get out. Get out. Oh, darling, your earring, it's still here, sweetheart. Can you get it?
One of my best childhood friends, his mother changed the locks.
Yeah, oh my God.
And they have a good relationship.
That's hilarious.
The day he graduated, she changed the
You
locks.
just made me realise that happened to my house too, but I think I might have a key.
I was going to say,
If you don't,
not quite the same.
if you don't, write a book.
I'm going to write an expose on the Collins household, bloody hell. Heather, you're kind of nodding along in agreement.
Yeah, I think I just find the whole thing really sad. Like, you know, the coronation's coming up, it's a bank holiday, so fun for us. And, you know, we like a bit of pomp with, you know, even with him and Meghan's wedding, everyone got really behind it and loved watching it. And it just feels a bit sad that it's sort of overshadowing all of that side of things. And, you know, like with the Queen's funeral, it was amazing to watch and see them all come together. So it just feels quite sad to me, I suppose, to like know that actually he's probably not going to be part of the coronation. And I don't know, it's just even more of a black cloud over the family because, I mean, they're already probably trying to battle their relevancy with the public. And I think this isn't doing anyone any favours.
I'd love to know to what end as well, though. Like, what is he hoping comes from this?
So agree. What's the point? If you want to create real institutional change, if he really feels like there should be, you know, a change in the monarchy and wants to work towards that, then again, noble fight, fine, go ahead. But the whining about past family things that are really just domestic dramas. Just, on that, I think we should stop talking about it because, as we say, far more important things to be focusing on. We're going to talk about what we've been watching instead. Much more important. What have you guys been watching, Meghan and Harry Doc aside?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Anything good, Patricia?
Oh, do you know what? I feel like not enough people are talking about this show. Probably because White Lotus, which I need to watch. Yes. But have you guys heard of Yellowstone?
I want to watch it, but I can't be bothered to buy Paramount Plus because I've got too many streaming services.
Well, the good news is you can get hooked because the first 2 seasons.
Good news is you're just going to keep spending more.
Not good for my
then I'll have someone to talk to you about it. So the first 2 seasons are on Prime, and then honestly, by that point, you're like, Paramount, take my money. It is so good.
So it's about.
It's like cowboys and Indians kind of story. It's obviously Yellowstone. It's like based in the Yellowstone Park area. It's not like Succession, but I'm obsessed with Succession, as I think lots of people are. Yeah. And it's that type of like big family, you know, like dominant family energy. So it's like the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch is like one family, and they're also like, you know, in the government in Montana and everything. Also, like, I just desperately want to go to Montana now.
Me too. It's such a bucket list place for me.
But it's one of those shows. I always think a good sign of a show is when they just kill big people off really quickly.
Yes, Game of Thrones. No one ever did that before Game of Thrones, and then the Red Wedding happened. Or no, I mean the first series. No spoilers, but first season. And you're like, oh whoa, the stakes have changed. Here we go.
Yeah. You didn't like it when they did it to Big.
No, that is a whole other matter. I'm not going to go into. Correct, I did not. It was too far down the line. Anyway, I did not like that.
But no, really, honestly, so good. Like, we're on season 5, and I'm not wavering.
Wow, how many are there?
It is, I think, currently 5.
I think so. Yeah.
It's so good. It's like quite harrowing at points. Yeah. Quite sad at points.
Just like a really good drama.
Oh, it's amazing. Great.
Okay.
Watch it.
And aren't there like prequels and things being made?
Oh, really?
It's like Yellowstone 1886 or something.
Oh my goodness. Well, I wouldn't be surprised because they do a lot of flashbacks.
When's it set?
All the characters. Now.
Oh, right. It is modern. Okay.
No, it's modern. Yeah. And like, there's like, they're all just amazing. Like the main girl, the daughter of the family, is like, just, you know, she's a lot. And like very scary, but also like big energy.
Okay, you've convinced
Like,
me.
Yeah, me
awful, but
too.
great.
I think in the prequel, it's Faith Hill and what's her husband?
Tim McGraw.
Thank
I was
you.
going to say, I was like racking my brains. I was like, what's Nicole Kidman's husband called?
Yeah, not Keith Urban. Different person.
Yeah, I think it's Tim McGraw and Faith Hill play
Cool.
possibly these ancestors.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I love when married couples play married couples on
Yeah.
TV. And have you seen that Matthew
Keely
McFadden
Hawes.
and Keely Hawes
Yeah.
are playing? So he is in Succession. He's what's his
Tom.
face? He is Tom in Succession, and he's married to Keely Hawes. In case you didn't know that, because I love that fact so much.
Yeah.
I feel like most people do
I
know
actually
that.
didn't know that.
There we go. I know he's British, and yeah. Anyway, they're playing husband and wife in something about. It's a true story about a
It's a
politician.
bit like the Perfume affair.
Yeah.
Exactly, but it's a politician who faked his own death.
Yeah.
Oh my
back in the
God.
70s,
Do you know
but
what?
it's so good.
There is so much good stuff out at the moment. We were, because I'm very into Yellowstone, I don't have time for much else. But scrolling through Netflix the other day, and there's all these like limited series, like the Madoff one.
Yeah.
There's the PepsiCo
Yes,
thing.
and I would say the FIFA one I haven't watched yet, and people rave about the FIFA one. I need to watch that. Yeah,
And the tennis one's
I was
coming
going to
out
say
on
the
Friday.
tennis
Yes.
one's out this week. Yeah.
There's lots of
about
good
that.
telly, which is
Lots of
good.
good
'cause
the
telly.
tennis one,
outside.
for a bit of context, is basically like Drive to
Drive to
Survive,
Survive.
but for tennis.
It's called Breakpoint.
Yeah. It's going to be
Amazing.
good.
I think that'll be a big chat over here. Harriet, anything to recommend?
I mean, the main thing that stuck out to me over the Christmas break was the menu. It's interesting because it's the same team behind Succession. Adam McKay, Will Ferrell, and someone else. That team of producers, anyway, have produced this. And I don't know if you did, Heather, but I definitely see like Succession vibes in it. It's not about family.
Yeah.
It's not about family
It's
drama.
completely different, right? Yeah.
Completely different. The basic synopsis is Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult play what you assume at the beginning to be a normal kind of new-ish couple, and to impress her, presumably, he has booked tickets to this dining experience, which is very exclusive, Michelin star, on this private island, and you basically have to be invited to go, and then you have to pay $1,200 for the pleasure. And they get there, Ralph Fiennes plays chef, and basically the minute they get there, they realise not everything is as it seems. And I can't really say more than
I mean,
that.
it's a horror film, right? Like, if you've seen the trailer, you know that it's about, they're like, we're going to die tonight. That's in the
Yeah,
trailer.
but what makes it so unique is that it's horror blended with comedy
I was
in
gonna
a way
say,
that I have never seen.
satire. Yeah.
Okay.
What's it on?
It was a
think
film. It came out
It's
in
on
cinema.
Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is it now on Disney
Yeah,
Plus?
it is in some cinemas, although the showings are fairly few and far between. But if you have Disney Plus, it's on there, which is very strange. It's not a Disney film. by
Yeah,
any
Disney
means.
Plus adopts some really random things,
Yeah.
I'd say.
But I just thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Okay, good. I was reading about there being a real trend for foodie content, like for foodie series like that. We finished The Bear over Christmas, which was just one of the best things we watched last year, which I think I spoke about on the podcast, but it's also on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And is a series about a really intense kitchen, and equally they're making a Boiling Point too, I think,
they
right?
are,
Which
yeah.
again kind of set the precedent for that kind of one
it's going to be a
shot.
series instead of
Sorry, that's right.
instead of a film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's this whole like a kind of microscope on these really intense. I mean, I guess it's there's such an easy kind of fodder for storytelling, that like really intense kitchen environment and kind of what it does to people. And
I mean, the menu is a send up.
it's so good.
Yeah, it's not to beat around the bush, but
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I think it's based on Dan Barber.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, this is not to slate Dan Barber. He has a restaurant called Blue Hill, which there are two now. There's one in Manhattan Central, and then there's one in upstate New York. And the upstate New York is like very much a destination.
Okay.
It's episode
experience.
2 on Chef's Table.
On
if you want
Netflix.
to
Yeah,
watch
if you
the
want
full
to
thing.
cross-reference.
Yeah.
And he obviously has a very particular approach to food, as most Michelin-style chefs, I would say, do. So I don't know how much of it is based
I mean,
on
it's
him.
a bit of it,
but-
isn't there? There's a bit of Noma in there. There's a bit of French Laundry.
Wait, Noma's closing.
Wow, shit! I wanted to go to Noma so badly.
Yeah.
You haven't been, have you?
No, I can't afford it.
But I feel like it's one of those things where it's like a
Yeah.
holiday almost. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that comes instead of a holiday.
We
You
were
just
just saying this year, actually, my other half is a big foodie. And I was like, do you know what we need to start doing is that, like setting, like we do with holidays, set goals of restaurants.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you almost
100%.
need to book it and then book your trip around it. But it's just really like, I don't know about Noma, but the Fat Duck, you now have to pay in advance and there's no cancellation, and it's $375 a head, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
quite a lot to be
They
laying
do
out in
that.
advance.
A lot of those big ones
Yeah.
do, but especially when they're small. Like if you cancel,
Yeah.
they can't fill. They
Yeah.
lose money.
Yeah, agreed.
Blah, blah, blah.
Depressing. I feel like, Heather, we've had quite a lot of chat over the last few days about new restaurants opening in the UK, in London, over this year. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I know, it's like-
Sorry, shit.
No.
What's open that is great, or what are you excited for that's to come?
There's just honestly, like every time we do a new restaurants roundup, people are like, should we do another one? We do one really recently. I'm like, yes, but there's still more and more opening. No, there's lots of really cool things opening. One I'm excited about is AKUB, which is AKUB, which is a Palestinian restaurant that's opening that looks amazing. That's opening next week. There's Jacuzzi that's opening, which is the new one from the sort of Big Mama group. So that's going to be their biggest one yet. I think quite a few of us from the office are going next Wednesday to have a look at it. There's loads of, I don't know, just honestly loads of pubs getting refurbished and reopening. There's like nice gastro pubs all over the place. There's just lots going on.
I went to Straker's over Christmas, which, so I don't know if you guys follow Thomas Straker, but he is a chef who, I mean, he's kind of worked the circuit in London. He worked at Heston Dinner by Heston for a few years, and he's opened his restaurant Straker's, but he basically gained like an enormous Instagram following over lockdown. He does this kind of butter series, and he makes all these different flavoured butters, and he's got nearly 1 million Instagram followers now, and having started on, I think, like 800 before the pandemic. Anyway, so he's really huge, and he's opened this restaurant Straker's in Notting Hill, and the food is excellent, like really, really good. When I say the service was 40 towers bad, it was it was comical. Like the whole thing was literally like watching. It was like the play that goes wrong. It was like quite coupley, like lots of tables of twos, and like every single couple got the wrong food. Every single dish came to the wrong people. Every bill, the drinks came and he was there just having a cig, natting to his friends.
Really? Oh, Classique.
Real shame. Yeah.
Oh, that's such an annoying thing, because I think you can go somewhere and the food's like okay, but if the service is amazing and you feel really well looked after, you can get away with anything pretty much.
Totally agree.
But if it's the other way around, it kind of leaves a bad taste.
The food was good enough that we will go back, but I'm going to go back with like time to spare.
To be fair, around the time you went, I imagine like there was lots of staff illnesses. Restaurants are still sort of struggling to recruit post-pandemic, post-Brexit and everything. Not to forgive everyone, but you know, it's tough out there for restaurants.
For sure.
Hopefully it will improve.
Exactly. Can I recommend the Claridge's documentary?
Oh, yes.
Called The Mayfair Hotel Mega Bills. Quite the name. It's on BBC Two. It's a 3-part series. The first 2 have come out. And it is basically about how Claridge's have, over the last 7 years, down 5, up to build a spa, a gym, and then some whacking great penthouse on the roof that's got a lake in it and costs $100,000 a night. That's all. That's what we keep being told in the documentary. Anyway, there's a little bit of lovely fluff about Claridge's because obviously, you know, they want to make it nice to watch. But it's mostly about the feat of engineering that is taking a piece of, you know, prime property. They wanted to keep the hotel open for the entire duration of the works. Obviously, the pandemic stopped that happening, but it also stopped the work happening as well. So that pause aside, they wanted to keep the hotel completely running, completely functioning whilst drilling 5 stories down, you know, on this kind of key piece of Mayfair real estate. And it's just, I guess if you're into how things are made, but like I'm actually not even that. Lou and I always joke, like she's always like, we will go past and she'll be like, oh, that's so interesting, I wonder how they did that. I'm like, I literally don't care. Like I do not care. But this is so fascinating because they basically excavated all the land under Claridge's by hand, 5 stories worth by hand, because the foundations are kind of, you know, they have to. And so it's about how they prop up the existing building, how they relieve the sound, and then obviously they needed to put a crane kind of in the surrounding area to build up, but they can't put a crane on the roads of Mayfair for 2 years, so they excavated the middle of Claridge's, airlifted a crane through the building. I mean, it's who the hell knew there was a crane in the middle of Claridge's for 2 years? I didn't notice that. I don't know about you guys.
Also, having worked, so my background is working in hotels, so from that perspective, I'm like,
how?
To keep it open and do all of that is
insane.
Absolutely insane.
And they basically took out a lift shaft in order to do it. I'm giving away loads, but anyway, but there's loads more. But this is what I remember. They took out a lift shaft, and so all the staff, it was an internal lift, like a room service lift. So all the staff basically have to use this one little pokey lift for like however many years while they have this crane going up and down. Anyway, it is wild. It is so fascinating. There's loads of setbacks along the way, including the pandemic. There was I actually welled up a bit watching the second episode last night. I don't know if you remember, but Claridge's let loads of NHS frontline workers stay there during the pandemic, and God, it really took me. They were doing the clap for the NHS outside, and I was like, oh, forgot about that. Anyway, so there's a kind of moment in timeness there, and there's lots of kind of disasters along the way. There's a big flood at a certain point, which sets them back quite a long way. Anyway, I've been reliably informed the end of the 3rd episode is fabulous. Haven't seen it yet, but I really recommend it, as you say, if you're just interested at all in how things get done. It is really fascinating. Also, episode 1, there is a very brief glimpse of me, Georgie, and Rich.
Is there?
There is, and that shows you how long they've been going for, because that was pre-pandemic. And they've been filming it for years. I remember them filming. We went to the Christmas tree unveiling.
Oh yeah.
When it was Christian Louboutin did the train. Do you remember he did that fabulous train?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're there. You can see our faces. So. Go watch it just for that alone. We thought we'd talk about some things we've read. Harriet, you had something fab.
This was in The Independent, and it was trends for 2023, which sounds quite basic, but I just really loved what they had included, because it was quite not SL in the sense that it wasn't like fashion trends or beauty trends or home trends. It was like literal kind of like life trends.
Zeitgeists.
Yeah, zeitgeist. Great word.
Thank you.
And the first one, of course, piqued my interest because it had the words Goblin Mode.
We're going back to Goblin Mode. Do you know about Goblin Mode?
I heard them talking about it on My Therapist Goes to Me, but I don't really get what it is.
Harriet can surmise.
Basically, it's when you really lean into a life of like slovenly existence.
Oh,
so
all about
You know the buns we were talking about earlier in lockdown? That.
I mean, I still like to think my bun isn't goblin, but
Not this bun. A lockdown bun.
throw a pair of earrings on, it's fine. But yeah, Goblin Mode is essentially you stop washing your hair, you don't put any makeup on, you live like a slob, you don't clean your house, etc.
But it can be for mode. It implies like a period of time.
Yeah.
Like you have a weekend of Goblin Mode and then you emerge.
It doesn't have to be like a lifestyle
Full-time
choice.
Goblin.
We're not recommending that.
However, according to The Independent, Goblin Mode will be dumped for the term soft life in 2023. And basically they're saying Goblin Mode served as an antithesis to perfectionism, which I thought was quite interesting because it was a term that was levied at women quite a lot. And although I think at the time I took that quite negatively and a bit like an offence, I think actually there's a lot of pressure put on women to be perfect. So maybe it's got more positive connotations than I first thought.
Well, maybe we've reclaimed Goblin Mode.
Yeah, we've taken it back. However, it says soft life will be known as a lifestyle free of stress. Might sound completely unattainable on paper, but it's about being soft with your actions and intentions. Things like meal prep will become cool. Staying in on a Friday night will be a triumph. Organising your cupboards won't be sad or excessive. It's the height of glamour.
Okay.
Well, that's very interesting.
I feel like that comes on from quiet quitting as well, which has been another trend that a lot of people have been talking about.
I only heard about yesterday.
Yes, big thing. Do you want
Big thing.
You're quite good at explaining things. Can I throw that one over to you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, quiet quitting is essentially like you don't actually quit your job or any of your responsibilities. Yeah. But it's like you take a step back from trying to be the person who's like always front and center, like, I'll do that, and then basically getting zero recognition for it. And instead you sort of say, I'm going to put myself first and my own needs first. And I'm going to essentially like retreat from...
Basically, just do your actual job.
Bare minimum.
It's an Irish exit, but from life.
Yeah. So, like, just do your job description and that's it. Don't do any late nights, any extra stuff.
But it can apply not just to work, right?
Yeah,
but it can be, you can quiet quit a relationship, or you can just basically stop making the effort.
I mean, the only thing I see where that's not working is being a parent of young children.
Yeah, best you don't.
I don't know.
I don't think that's an option.
No, I think I'd struggle to quiet.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be
I
very...
don't know if I'd recommend it.
No, I was going to say, it sounds a bit neglectful, so maybe don't.
As usual, mothers get the bum end of the stick there. Yes.
Anyway, so this feels to me like a kind of extension of that, like, let's just like all go a bit easier on ourselves, prioritise self, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a post-pandemic reaction as well, isn't it? Where we try and hold on to some of those things that lockdown taught us all about quiet living.
Do you know what, this past weekend, we finished the weekend and I turned to my other half and I was like, as a goal for this year, can we do more of that?
Oh, great.
We did
nothing.
Very little. We cleaned a bit, we went for a walk, we went out for a coffee, we took Otley swimming. And I finished the weekend and I was like, oh my gosh.
I was so rested.
I feel so relaxed. Yeah. And I was having a little bit of the January blues and I came out of it being like, no, I feel chill now. And I just want more of that because I'm all for going out and doing all the stuff, but I just get exhausted.
Yeah. And also you get exhausted. The burnout comes when you don't prioritise all of those things.
Yeah, of
because
course.
then your week kind of spirals and you're like, oh, I don't have food to eat and I'm out every night and so you can't protect the fundamentals like getting up, going to work, having a busy day if you haven't done the prep and done the kind of those soft bits in and around.
The soft life.
Yeah. Can I say something really interesting though? I felt like I really loved working from home kind of like when it happened, and obviously I really love having a balance. I would never choose to work from home 5 days a week, but last week, because the floor in the office is being replaced, we started the year working from home, and every day I was thinking, this is so lovely. I love that I don't have to commute and I love that I've got all this food readily accessible, But I was really down. I felt really down all of last week. And we came back into the office yesterday and I literally feel like a new person. I need the I don't know if, and it's not a kind of hangover from COVID. It's not a kind of trauma from COVID. It wasn't like, God, this was like lockdown.
Yeah.
I just need the human interaction a lot more than I thought I did, I think.
People will always need people.
Yeah, and you've always said that about being in the office, to be fair.
Yes, I have. I agree. I like the balance. There are definitely some weeks where we get to a Wednesday and I'm like, oh, thank God for that.
Totally.
Or I just need to get my head down on something and I think, right, no one's going to ask me or drag me into a meeting room or whatever. But if we were doing it 5 days a week, 365 days a year, I'd very quickly get pretty depressed. But then I live on my own, so that is another, thing.
But actually, maybe that's it, because actually my husband was at work all week last week.
Whereas
in the pandemic we were together.
You had a touch of my lockdown experience.
Yeah, I guess,
then.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, not the funnest.
No.
But also, people are different. I always say there's always a discussion about introvert versus extrovert, but I don't think that's particularly nuanced. I think the more interesting conversation is whether you get energy from people or whether being with people drains you of energy. And I would actually say that being with people drains me of energy, but I like that balance of then I go home and that's where my batteries recharge.
Yeah. You don't mind the draining?
No,
almost.
I don't mind it at all. It's not that I'm an introverted person or antisocial. I'm more than happy to go to dinners and parties and everything, but I do need the 50-50.
Yeah. I really relate to that, actually.
Whereas my sister, for example, if she spends, or my mum even, if they spend a lot of time on their own, they get very, very depressed quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it's because they need the stimulation, their energy levels. It's like their battery is replaced by being with people. It's like their energy goes up again. And then when they're on their own, they sort of start to decompress and then it goes up again.
I don't know about you, I find that human interaction quite addictive. Like I kind of relate to you and to what you're saying in kind of an abstract way, but I really notice about myself that if I have a particularly interactive day where I'm in meetings all day and I'm with people, I'll get in the car or something and I'm like, right, who can I call? And I'm like, oh, what should I do tonight? Or I find it really hard to go from the 100 to the 0 of like, okay, now it's time to be quiet.
I agree, but this is why I started walking home. So I only live in Wandsworth, which is literally 2.5 miles in that direction.
It's quite a long walk in
it's an hour's
January.
Walk, but the bus takes an hour. So I'm like, really? I should get the exercise. So, and I did it again for the first time last night, back on the horse. And for me, it's been game changing because I have an hour where, and I put my phone in my bag, so I put a podcast on. I don't look at emails on the way home or anything, and it's like it's an hour. If people need me, they'll phone me.
Of course, yeah.
And if not, I'm sure it can wait till I'm home.
Yeah.
And that hour is just literally like my most precious hour of the day.
I'm like that with the dog walk.
Yeah.
And I think it is because I'm either at work or at home looking after a 1-year-old and it's just like go, which I love, but I do need to just, so when I have like time to just go out with the dog and like, put in a podcast and not talk to anybody,
I've actually started walking without a podcast with the dog. Sometimes it depends on my mood, but I actually find that's the only time you get. I don't like silence in the house, so I always got the radio or TV or something on, or music, whatever. And I go and it's like, wow, it's just me and the dog and the thoughts. It's really nice. Heather, where do you stand on the socialising introvert extrovert scale?
I think what we're doing right now is perfect for me. So 3 days in the office, because I do think because we do so much writing, me and Harriet, you do need those days where you haven't got distractions. So last week I was the same as you. I wasn't low, but I was definitely like looking forward to coming back into the office, but I just got so much done because I was literally just like which was a great way to start the year. But it was also nice knowing that on Monday we're all going to come in and do stuff like this. So I think
a bit of both.
Yeah, a bit of both. I think I always think I want a weekend just me doing nothing, but then as soon as it gets to like Sunday morning, I'm like, what now? Like, who can I call? Who can I meet for coffee? So I always think I want a bit more time to myself than I do, but balance is good.
Yeah, soft living, but at
soft living.
Next on the list. I don't know what these are. Someone's going to have to explain.
I know what shag bands are.
Okay.
You know what shag bands are?
Shag bands will make a comeback.
Those little plastic thin ones.
Rubber bands that you wear on your wrist.
They weren't rubber, but they were made out of
rubber
plastic.
bracelets.
But no, it's the ones you built, right? You'd like plait them.
Oh, like a Scooby?
Oh my God, a Scooby!
No,
I was obsessed.
I don't know what Scoobies are, but shag bands were like, these plastic, brightly coloured things. Maybe you're just like a couple of years.
It's
too
young.
But we had them, basically, everyone used to wear them in the 90s, and then if somebody broke them, it meant you had to shag them. Everyone said this in the playground when you were like 7, so obviously not.
I honestly have not seen those in.
I remember this. I can smell them in my head.
I
know what they smell
Some
like.
people had them all the way up their arms, like loads of
It's
them
like
at
it sent
school.
parents into a moral panic in 2009.
Because they were called shag bands when you were talking about them when you were like 6, 7, 8 in the playground, not obviously
that's
knowing.
This was a Scooby. Do you remember those?
I
know.
know.
Like,
Scoobies,
I was
yeah.
so
oh my god, I got so obsessed.
No.
And then you could sort of like level up in the intricacy of them.
Level up.
Yeah, because so basically there were pieces of plastic and there was like a method for weaving them together to make
No,
these.
they were after my
You can tell that
time.
Instagram and Netflix hadn't been invented yet.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
I know, but I miss those. I miss those days of doing. I might get some Scooby. That's why people are knitting.
Yeah. I thought you might find this interesting.
I want to know what shag bands are about.
Yeah, what?
They
Yeah,
say it's a follow-on from the dopamine dressing trend. And that it's linked to that and the art of dressing to boost your mood. Think neon jumpers, the shade of stabilo. Is that how you say it? Stabilo highlighters?
The highlighters, yeah.
Funky jewellery will be seen a lot this year, layering and mismatching outfits too. DIY, beaded and rework pieces will certainly be seen more.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of dopamine jewellery, I think of like Roxanne.
Yeah,
so like I think there's a
for that.
chicer way to do.
I'm like here for that, not really here for the shag bands.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that seems a very
on your
niche
page.
way to describe the trend.
affordable way to do
Very,
dopamine dressing
yeah.
perhaps.
Another fashion one, Crocs are out, ballet pumps are in.
Oh no.
Thing is, I just think that it comes down to personal preference, but I just think it's more, a chunky shoe is more flattering on most legs than a ballet flat. It's just
Ballet
easier to
flats
wear.
do not look good on me in any guise.
Bad in a
No.
ballet flat.
What's weird about a ballet flat I find is when I look down, I think, that looks
Yeah,
okay.
then
When
it's the
then
front.
it's the front on, you catch yourself in like a window or a mirror or something, and you think, oh my god.
Yeah, your calves look the same size as your thighs, or mine
Yeah,
do
there's
anyway.
no breaking it. For me as well, like, I see the girls wearing them and I'm like, yeah, you know, the Chanel's back and I'm here for it. But then there's something about when I try and style them that I feel quite like a kid.
Yeah.
And it just, like, especially, I guess, if it's like on a naked leg, then it all feels a little bit naked.
It's schoolgirl as well,
Yeah, very
But you could wear a
schoolgirl.
black ballet pump with like what you're wearing now.
Yeah.
I think you need something really cool like
That's
that
the
to
thing.
offset
I
it.
think so. Yeah, like I don't know if you guys follow Sarah Louise Blythe, but I feel like she nails it. Like she does the sort of like quite, like baggy, you know, Ray jeans with a Chanel ballet flat, and it really
That
works.
works.
But I haven't found my
I stick to my chunkies.
Yeah.
personally.
Men will shamelessly embrace manicures.
I've got a husband who's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
There should
V
be
went and got his free manicure from
It's
Biosculpture.
an it.
Damn right. There should be
Damn right.
absolutely no shame.
No shame.
around men taking care of the way they look.
Agree.
Barbie core will be replaced by trendy gym wear.
It's coming back.
Oh god, here we go.
Pleasure's back.
Because the Barbie film's coming out this year, so if the Margot Robbie one, so if anything, you'd think Barbie
I
core
think
might continue.
they do reference that in here, and I think what they're saying is it's basically going to be a more nuanced version of Barbie core in that it's going to be hot pink lycra leggings, multicoloured leotards and headbands.
It sounds more like Call on Me.
I said it-
Think Jane Fonda with the workout video attire.
I would say that Barbie core really came from Valentino, but then just got the name Barbie core.
I don't think that's what they were going
No, I'm not
for.
sure that's exactly. Whereas then for like when I think of Barbie, I do think of the lycra and the rollerblades and the Miami
Some leg
vibes.
warmers.
Yeah.
The boob obsession is going nowhere. Side boob, apparently, as opposed to
Who's boob obsession?
the fashion world's
Okay.
obsession with boobs.
Under boob.
Under
Still
boob is
around?
out, side boob is in.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah, I like that.
Relationship-wise, there are two more. Situationship will be killed off. Unbothered dating habits will flourish.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I was-
Unbothered dating
So
habits.
it says that basically ever since the pandemic, the dating scene's been dominated by comfort blanket relationships in which no one wants to put much of a label on things, a situationship, if you will. Finally, 2023 will put an end to all this. Next year, single people will finally say enough is enough to ill-defined romances and declare themselves happy and unbothered.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I'm afraid three of us can't speak for that, but yeah. I feel like you've been happy and unbothered for a while.
Well, this is interesting though. So telling people you're focusing on yourself right now will no longer be presumed as lazy, read sad and tragic, but rather a revolutionary act. Finally! I've been banging this drum for like 3 years.
Yeah, you go, girl. You
I never thought you were
you.
sad and
No, I
tragic,
never
Harriet.
thought
If
that.
that
No, of
helps.
course you guys didn't. But I would be, you know, I tell it endlessly, it's so boring. But I feel like the number of, particularly with older people, number of dinners or like family things I'd go to and they'd be like, so, boyfriend? And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, literally this look of panic would cross their face as if to say like, okay, what the hell do I say now? Because I think what they want me to do is like fill the silence with a reason. No, I've got 3 feet.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, like something easy where they can be like, yeah, that's never going to happen for
right.
her.
Yeah.
But really, when I just say, no, not at the moment, they're like, oh shit.
Do they end up saying, "Oh, don't worry, you'll meet someone"? Is that the default?
No, I get a lot. Like, why do you think that is?
Oh my
Which is
God,
like
that's
horrible.
Yeah.
But I think they mean it from like a good place, as in they must think I'm like gorgeous and attractive and really clever.
Must do, yeah.
And, like,
yes, it's true. They can't find a reason.
Yeah, they're so puzzled by this. I don't understand how this is possible. But it's a very like, horrible thing to be in a situation with, because you're like, I don't know either.
It's almost like if someone came to one of us and said, "So why do you think your partner likes you?"
That
would be the flip side.
Yeah,
That's just so
you
weird.
managed to get someone to marry you.
Yes, exactly. How did you do that? Yeah.
It's a very like backward kind of questioning.
Fascinating.
Anyway, they've quoted a relationship expert here who's the founder of a dating app, and she says basically everything's going to shift away from traditional notions of settling down at an early age. I know that's something that you get asked quite a lot, don't you? Because you and Toes have been together for a long time.
Yeah.
But you're not married.
No,
and like
no
that puzzles a lot of people.
Yeah, but everyone does things in their own time.
Yeah, but then,
I think it's because I'm the oldest in my family and I'm the only one who's not married with kids. So it's like, that's fine.
Yeah. You get away with it when there are other people with kids.
Oh, yeah, I think the pressure would be on otherwise.
But this year, people will prioritise less conventional relationship arrangements and begin to think more carefully about what they actually want from love.
Great.
There we go.
Like that.
So that's a good one. Intentional celibacy is the other relationship thing, which I feel ties in quite nicely. But
my best friend and I always call it celibate by default. So yeah,
I remember I had an emergency surgery a couple of years ago, so it was all a bit like stressy situation. But I remember like basically lying on the deathbed, and the paramedics or whoever was saying to me, they were like, "Is there any chance you could be pregnant?" And I just remember like literally I'd been throwing up for like hours. It turned out I had to have my gallbladder out.
Ooh.
So I was lying there like on the edge of death, and I'm saying to this girl, "Is there any chance you could be pregnant?" And I just looked at her like through this haze. I was able to cut through and be like, chance would be a fine thing.
Immaculate conception.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Great. Lots of lovely trends.
Yeah,
okay.
love those.
Lots to look forward to. Patricia, on the fashion front, what are you looking forward to wearing this year?
I embraced colour more last year, and I feel myself like shrinking back into the black.
It's very
and the
hard when
neutral.
it's
It
so
is
rainy and
difficult.
grey.
Yeah.
But
You're not
I'm
going to step out today in
excited.
fuchsia,
No,
are you?
Oh, well, exactly.
But we should.
I'm wearing a vague yellow
You
to
are.
try and be
Yeah,
cheery.
very cheery.
But I'm up for more of that. I'm up for more colour again this year. I don't know, I'm excited to like dress more. Like not just, I do love leaning towards like my jeans and my jumpers. I love it still. But I'm excited to like just dress up a bit more, like wear some slip skirts and heeled boots and wear a dress and a jacket or like whatever it is. It's just a little bit, like a little
Elevated.
bit. Yeah, a bit elevated. I'm more excited for more of that person.
What about you, Charlotte?
Oh, what am I excited for? Yeah, I feel the same. I was saying to someone yesterday that I've had this I just really want to wear, not heels to the office, but I look at so many of my outfits and I want to wear my boots and I want to wear my heels, but like I have quite a long commute and it just really isn't feasible. So my new plan is, not today because it's chucking down, I just want it to be warm, but my new plan is comfy shoes, elevated, everything else. That I just think that's the only way I can continue doing it. Until, like, I'm in spring, I might be able to bring shoes, like the shoes you're wearing today, Harry. I like more of that with me, but I'm just
in a bag, I would
exactly. That's my point. I can do an hour-long walking fast. Teetering home. For those listening, Harry's wearing some lovely sling bags. But I, so it comes. But I'm not going to take my long boots and a bag to work. So for now, it's comfy footwear, elevated, everything else, suits, blazers, that kind of thing, and that's going to have to be my MO for the fashion. Let's answer some questions. I'm going to just answer one very quickly. Somebody has said a cashmere dressing gown, ideally under £140. Don't know about a cashmere one, but there is one in David Gandy's Wellwear collection, which is like, it's kind of like, it's almost like a sweatshirt dressing gown, but it's like one of the comfiest things I've ever touched. So buy that. Someone has said advice/tips for moving home. Heather, you moved not that long ago, a couple of years ago. What's your advice?
Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? Because Georgina, she'd be better placed for this. I sit next to her. She's just moved, and it sounds like it's been, not traumatic, but, just a lot going on.
It? Yeah.
I think we were quite lucky in the sense that we were just in a tiny studio flat beforehand, so we didn't actually have that much stuff to transport compared to others. But, it's hard, isn't it? I guess just trying to be as organised as possible and just, book your movers as soon as you can, organise if you need boxes and all those sorts of things. Book in the cleaners to clean the old place, before. But just all those little things. And I guess, sorting out the internet as far in advance as you can. Like, it's all the obvious stuff, but I guess
No, I
just
didn't know. It's
make
obvious,
like a massive list of like every sort of thing that you need to organise, because it's just
also like
so
get rid
much.
of stuff on the beginning end.
Yes.
We got
Such
so
a good one.
lazy, and at the end I was like, I can't be bothered with this, and we were just like packing everything.
Yeah.
And then at the other end I was like, no, I have to get rid of all this stuff,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is undoubtedly still in my house.
Well,
I was going to say, which you
Very
never
much
do.
so.
Yeah.
So it hangs around for like 3 years.
We used a company when we moved called Man with a Trash Van. I don't know. Google. There's loads of services like this, and they'll basically come to your house and they take away all your junk. So instead of you having to go to the skip, not everyone has a car. Not everyone, you have to pay to go to the skip anyway. It's not super cheap, but I think we pay something like £100 for someone to just come and take away. And we literally, you don't have to organise it. You just it was in a pile in the middle of the room, and they just came and took it all away, which is very helpful. They recycle what needs to be recycled. They look after it. But you don't have to worry about it. And I think if you're moving...
So much nicer at the other end as well.
Yeah.
To be like, new space and like clean stuff.
Exactly.
I've thought of something else. Have a box that you take round before you go with all your stuff, with like coffee, kettle, tea,
Essential.
2 wine glasses or however many you need, a bottle of something
Toothbrush.
celebratory, all the fun stuff just to have in the kitchen, so that if you do go round, you've got all those things to sort of celebrate before
I remember Georgie
everything
telling
else
me
shows up.
this tip as well, which has always stuck with me, which is leave a bottle of champagne in the fridge for whoever's moving into your house.
Oh, that's a classy touch.
I was in rentals before.
Yeah, Georgie's very generous.
Like, you just get nicked by the landlord. No thanks.
I thought you were going to say, because this is another tip that Georgie always gives, is replace your toilet seats. Go on with new toilet seats if you're moving to your house, which is such a good point.
Georgina said that once, and I'd already been in the flat for like 18 months. Like, we haven't changed them at all.
And actually, I remember when Becky moved house towards the end of last year, she also, they didn't get cleaners booked, and they thought they could do it all themselves. But actually, it was just, do you know what? Unfortunately, it's an expensive endeavour, and you sometimes just have to, do what you can, suck it up, and just those things to get it feeling like a home.
I would always do that now, because in rentals, I always used to spend like weekends cleaning them all. Like, literally, sometimes my mum would come and help, and like, she does not shirk, and they'd still be like trying to get money. Like, this wasn't clean, this wasn't clean. Like, now I've learned to just like leave it to the professionals. You've got the receipt, and then you'll, in the long term, keep more of your cash.
I think that's exactly right. Good tips. All right, thanks so much, everyone. Lovely to have you. Thanks all. If you have any feedback, please do email podcast@SheerLuxe.com. We loved hearing from you. Don't forget to look out for the question box on social every week. And please also rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. And we'll see you next time. Bye.